لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أسى محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The ongoing topic of the Holy Grail, the true cross of the Madkhali and Pseudo-Salafi, never comes to an end. And as I consistently mentioned over time, is that their methodology is definitely regime driven. Okay, regime driven, follows a political wind, and it's passed off as sunnah. It's passed off as if this is prophetic, to be absolute bootlickers, subservient, servile. This is not the case. This is not the case. And one thing that has been clearly noted over the 3 years that I've been going back and forth is the deception. And you notice over the years, that I've been going back and forth 3 years, or if not slightly under, is the deception that they employ. And the deception that they employ has been quite sinister and evil in terms of how they've elevated this particular matter. And I will show you as well is that they've programmed and have indoctrinated their followers to the point that sunnah and bid'ah, or huda wa dalala, is rooted in your position on said rulers, most notably the Gulf. Now what I'm going to do is respond to Brother Abu Mus'ab, Wajdi Akari, Brother Knowledge North, meaning Abdul Rahman, and Shamsi, and that sort of strand. May Allah guide them and guide us. And look, to be fair, I've given my fair share of insults to them, and that's not appropriate. And I think I'm trying to change the direction, because at the end of the day, it's easy to lose your rag and lose your head and start saying things that are not really Islamically correct. So nevertheless, let's get into this. Recently, our brother Abu Mus'ab Wajdi Akari had a Q&A session, and what really baffled me, that in the hour and however long it was, the questions were centered around certain matters, where it was Salafiyya, or whether it was that person or this person. But what really struck out was the amount of times he was asked about Khurooj. This is how much they've elevated this matter, as if when you become a Salafi or a near Salafi, it is near impossible that you avoid this topic. Now look, I'm in the UK, right? We're going to get to the academic evidences regarding AhlulBayt, عليهم السلام, and Khurooj, which is going to be very shocking to most of you. So let me gradually ease you in. When I have encountered Salafis, right, and I'm speaking about in Birmingham, London and whatnot, I've only had a fair share of interaction. It is near impossible, as I mentioned before, that they would not mention Khurooj or rulers or Saudi Arabia. Or it's like they want to test you. Forget testing you with Rabi'a, they're testing you with Khurooj. So let me place it on screen for you just quickly, just going to go one by one. Okay, so this brother asked Abu Mus'ab Wajdi Akari, Ustad, may Allah reward you for all your refutations, all the refutations you do. Help me get out of my democracy-induced theology, which I was applying for Muslim rulers. Now Muslim rulers, there you go, number one. Number two, Daniel has said that Salafi Madkhali are hypocrites since they refuse to allow criticism of some leaders. See, some leaders, meaning the Gulf. And he admits it himself, you'll see in the video later. But make open takfir on other leaders like Khamenei and Assad. How do we answer this? So again, rulers, and speaking against rulers. Okay, another one. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Are we allowed to speak up against another Muslim ruler? Again, Muslim rulers again. Who is oppressing my Muslim country? Is my loyalty to my Muslim ruler or another Muslim rulers? They're so programmed like sheep, it's shocking. How can I find the ijma' and not rebelling against ruler with tongue as well? You see the knuckleheads that they're attracting, and to be fair, they've been getting away with this for nearly 2 decades. And he directs them to Ustad Abdurrahman Hassan's Hadahullah wa Iyana's 14-hour podcast, which I think he needs to direct them to Trainwreck. I got part 3 coming, but again, I've been so busy, I've never got around to recording it. Ustad, aren't you a Khariji for criticizing Hamas, the Muslim leaders of Gaza? We're going to get to that later on. Ustad, why don't you consider Abdurrahman Hassan as a Khariji for criticizing the Sunni ruler? He's Alawi, so again, that's different. I answered that question for everyone. Assalamu alaikum. You can see where I'm heading with this. I understand we can't criticize or rebel against Muslim leaders to avoid greater chaos, but if the government promotes free mixing of music, is there anything we can do? Muslim rulers. Okay, Muslim rulers! Assalamu alaikum. Some people have claimed that Sheikh Albani did criticize Saudi Arabian leadership in his time. Is it that legitimate? And he did. Another one. Look, it doesn't stop. Daniel claims that Abu Taymiyyah, Hafidhullah, publicly went against the rulers of his time. He asked the rhetorical question: is Abu Taymiyyah doing Khurooj? Again, Khurooj and rulers. How to respond to that? Look at what. Come back to me before I move on to the next one. Right? Look, that's about 7 different questions asked. Roughly, I'm not counting it accurately. Just like 6, 7, or 8. And look how their followers are asking about Muslim rulers. They're probably living in England or America or Canada or Australia. What has that got to do with you? Muslim rulers, they've made them sheep. They've subjugated themselves to becoming blind followers, and they have the nerve to call others blind followers. Where are you heading with this? Like I said, it's regime driven. It's to make them subservient. It's to control them. And hence why I'm getting the barrage of insults and the barrage of opposition is because I'm using my brain and opposing them with clear text. Anyway, let's carry on. Ustad, do the same rulings apply to secularist leaders or leaders who have killed Muslims such as Al-Sisi? Okay, rules again. Are we obliged to love the Muslim rulers and profess our love to them in public? Is establishment of Saudi state by Ibn Saud by rebelling against Ottoman Caliphate considered Khurooj? Again, you see, Ustad, I don't make tawfiq on Saudi rulers because they grind their reign on the Sharia. You didn't educate yourself about Urdugan and you're speaking about it. Even some scholars say his kufr can't be excused. 9 or 10 questions asked about Khurooj, rulers, speaking against rulers, takfir. And we have bigger problems that are facing the Muslims. We've got gun crime, knife crime, gangs, drugs, Muslim youth thinking they're rappers, Muslims that are questioning their faith, nearing irtidad, ilhad, atheism, and we've got beautiful brothers tackling this now. We got, Akhi Ayman, may Allah preserve him, he's tackling, that matter in terms of bringing the youth closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, closer to religion. He's doing a great job. Even the Madkhali, haven't stopped from opposing him and critiquing him, and it's ridiculous. Then we got brother Abu Taymiyyah, tabarakallah, who, again, I have made it clear that I've got differences with him in certain aspects, but let's not overlook the benefit and the khair that he's providing to the ummah. Let's just be just. Maybe 2-3 years ago I might have had a different stance, but over time I've spoken to him, and it's good to speak, and then you could formulate understandings without having this sort of negative energy. Anyway, so the Madakhila and pseudo-Salafis are a difficult problem for the ummah, and as I said before, their priorities are all wrong. Now, I've waffled on now, so apologies. Let's listen to our brother Abu Musa Wajdi.
We bear with patience and we accept this kind of humiliation that we get from our fellow brothers and sisters for the sake of the other ones who are looking for the truth. So when some of you show love and you appreciate, and you know, and those who've been with this channel for many years know that we don't have any ulterior motives. Like those who know really know. Like maybe if you knew and you've seen some of my tweets, you're like, yo, this guy's fishy. Okay, fine. I understand. Those who've been with this channel for many years, they know what we're about. So when you make these, put something like this, sohol, you only make yourself look bad, brother. Barakallah feek. I hope and pray that Allah Azza wa Jal guides you from this khariji mentality. Anybody and everybody who claims that we are bootlickers because we don't criticize the governments publicly is a person with khariji tendencies. He has kharijiyya running in his blood. He's someone who has fallen into khuruj. Whether he is a khariji or not is another discussion. Just like the scholars say, not every practicer of bid'ah is a mubtadi'. A person may engage in innovation, but he's not an innovator himself. And a person may engage in khuruj even though he's not a khariji himself. But usually, when you start playing around with khuruj, it's only a matter of time before you become a full-fledged khariji. And I'm telling you straight up, as long as you continue to listen to people like Daniel Hakikachu, it's a matter of time before you become a khariji. You listen to people like Brother Haji, it's a matter of time before you become a khariji. There's no way around it. Because these people are on a mission, non-stop mission, to highlight They literally fetch in the trash for any piece of information, any kind of news which is against the Gulf. And then they put it to the public and they say, answer this now. Give me an answer now. It's like, dude, you really have to try so hard. You really hate it so much. You're living among the kuffar. All of y'all live. One is living in the US, one is living in the UK, paying taxes to the governments that know what they're involved in. But it's halal for them, haram for us, you know? We're the bootlickers. Really though? Astaghfirullah, brothers, astaghfirullah, man.
That's just a quick recap for you. So, Hussein, radiallahu anhu, after his martyrdom and his rebellion, which we're going to get to, the noble AhlulBayt, AlirezaAlFarsi, wanted revenge. And they did not tolerate the injustices of Bani Umayyah. Now, Bani Umayyah, as a Khilafah, did a lot of khair, but at the same time, they did a lot of transgressions as well. Those noble members which had the blood of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not stand for injustice. And so many male members of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, whether it was from the lineage of Hussein radiallahu anhu or the lineage of Hassan radiallahu anhu, rebelled against their leaders. Many members of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam rebelled against their tyrannical rulers. Where's the proof of this? This is page 53. But remember, a lot of people ask me, why don't you mention the page numbers, etc. You got to remember that this, unless you got this copy, then yeah, it's 53. But other publishers will have different copies. So the PDF that I download different in pages. So hence why when I research and I find the quote in the book, I have to find the PDF which corresponds to the page number I have, and it differs most of the time. So as you can see on screen, it mentions هذا ذكر من خرج من آل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that this is mentioning from the ones that rebelled, okay, from the family of the Messenger of Allah or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he mentions خرج الحسين بن علي بن أبي طالب. So Abdurrahman Hassan said that Hussein radiallahu anhu did not do khuruj. I presented a video responding to student discourse, as you can see on screen. I mentioned about 10, 11 ulama that confirmed Hussein radiallahu anhu did khuruj. This neo-Salafi rhetoric is that because they're doing it bay'ah, it doesn't count as khuruj. It's ridiculous. So Abu Hassan al-Ash'ari said that Hussein radiallahu anhu did khuruj. As you can see, Raja al-Hussein bin Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. It continues, he says that Hussein radiallahu anhu rebelled. Why? Munkaran ala Yazid bin Muawiyah. Basically rejecting, okay, Yazid bin Muawiyah. And what was apparent min dhulmihi faqutila bi Karbala, that what was apparent from his oppression, not kufr, he rebelled for his oppression. Abu Hassan al-Ash'ari, like I said, there's macro oppression or micro oppression. Look, we're educating you. I'm doing this for 2-3 years, and I'm bringing new books out showing you that you got away with this for so long. As I said, it's regime driven, and it continues with giving legitimacy for these tyrants, especially in the Gulf, and it's passed off as Sunnah, okay, and the way of the Salaf, just to be subservient slaves. Yes, having patience is better, but anyway, let's move on. So ثم خرج زيد بن علي بن حسين بن علي ibn Abi Talib. So look, Zayd, the son of Ali, meaning the son of Hussein radiallahu anhu, the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So there you go. You got another member of the Ahlul Bayt who rebelled. And he rebelled against, what's it called, in Kufa, bil Kufati, ala Hisham ibn Abd al-Malik. ووالي العراق يومئذ يوسف ibn Umar al-Thaqafi. He was obviously, he rebelled against Hisham ibn Abd al-Malik. And the governor or the person that was ruling Iraq at the time, at that particular time, was Yusuf ibn Umar al-Thaqafi. And he was killed, Zayd ibn Ali, rahimahullah ta'ala, in the battle. Listen to this, subhanallah al-azim, listen to this. He was buried, and only Yusuf ibn Umar al-Thaqafi knew where he was buried. So what happened? He exhumed his body, crucified him, and then Hisham wrote to him, ordering, okay, that he be burnt. Zayd ibn Ali ibn Hussein ibn Abi Talib. Look at the way they killed him, and look what they did after to his body. And they burnt his body, and his ashes were thrown in the Furat, in the river Euphrates. He mentioned ثم خرج Yahya bin Zayd. So the son of Zayd bin Ali bin Hussein ibn Abi Talib, Yahya bin Zayd also rebelled, and he rebelled in a place in Khurasan, right? And against Walid bin Yazid bin Abdul Malik. So he rebelled, okay? And also, if you think I'm just quoting the one book, as you can see, we've got Al-Kamilu fi Tarikh, and you've got the mention of the killing of Yahya bin Zayd bin Ali bin Hussein, and also Ibn Athir rahimahullah ta'ala mentions the killing, etc. So you could go into that if you want. So now he mentions ثم خرج محمد بن عبد الله بن الحسن بن الحسن bin Ali ibn Abi Talib. Okay, so who rebelled? Now this is from the lineage of Hassan radiallahu anhu, and it mentions that basically in Medina, and this was during the time, okay, of Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. Okay, so this is the time of Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, and it basically mentions the story about they fought and he was killed, and it carries on. So they all get killed, by the way. Even Yahya bin Zayd got killed. He got killed in near Afghanistan, I think, Khorasan. Who rebelled after? He mentions that Muhammad bin Abdullah, who was the brother of Ibrahim bin Abdullah bin al-Hasan bin Ali bin Abi Talib. Again, he rebelled from the lineage of Hassan radiallahu anhu, and he rebelled in Basra. The other one rebelled in Medina. Okay, who rebelled after? ثم خرج الحسين bin Ali bin al-Hasan bin al-Hasan bin al-Hasan bin Ali ibn Abi Talib. So the lineage continues from the lineage of Hassan who rebelled against his ruler. Then also ثم خرج بالكوفة في أيام المأمون. Now we're in the Abbasid period now. So we've gone past the Umayyads, now we're in the Abbasids. So who rebelled against in the time of al-Ma'mun? Muhammad bin Ibrahim bin Ismail bin Ibrahim bin al-Hasan bin Ali. So from the lineage of Hassan again. So a lot of family members from the lineage of Hassan rebelled. Okay, and basically in Khurasan, and he got killed as well. He was buried in Kufa. Then he mentioned after that they rebelled with Abu Saraya, Muhammad bin Zayd bin Ali bin al-Husayn bin Ali bin Abi Talib. And then he mentions after that they rebelled in Yemen and in Khurasan. Ibrahim bin Musa bin Ja'far bin Muhammad bin Ali bin al-Husayn bin Ali ibn Abi Talib. So now this Ibrahim bin Musa bin Ja'far, he is from the lineage of Hussein, and he was the companion of Abu Saraya, and he went to Ma'mun with an army, and he was defeated in Iraq, and he was given safe passage by Ma'mun. So Ma'mun didn't kill him. Okay, this one. Then he mentions وَخَرَجَ Muhammad bin al-Qasim. This Muhammad bin al-Qasim was from the sons of Hussein bin Ali in Khurasan, okay, and in this land called Taliqan, I think. And it mentions that this was during the Khilafah of Al-Mu'tasim. Then it mentions that Abdullah ibn Tahir basically proceeded towards him, وَهُوَ عَلَى Khurasan, and he was in Khurasan with an army, and he defeated Muhammad. So Muhammad was able, Abdullah ibn Tahir was able to take him to Al-Mu'tasim, who imprisoned him in the palace. And then the people differed regarding what happened to him basically. Some said that he escaped, and some said that he died. And from the Zaydiyya, they alleged that أنه حي, that he is alive and that he will return. So similar to like the 12th Imam. So Zaydiyya has got this belief as well. Who was rebelled? وَخَرَجَ Muhammad bin Ja'far bin Muhammad bin Ali bin al-Husayn bin Ali. So this person rebelled as well in Mecca. وَخَرَجَ Ali bin Muhammad bin Isa bin Zayd bin Ali bin al-Husayn bin Ali ibn Abi Talib during the time of Al-Mu'tasim, and he was killed as well. Very mentioned. ثم خرج الحسن bin Zayd bin al-Hasan bin Ali ibn Abi Talib bin Tabrastan. This individual from the lineage of Hassan radiallahu rebelled in Tabrastan in the year 250. وَالْعَامِلُ بِهَا Sulaiman bin Abdullah. That the Amil, the governor at that time, was Sulaiman bin Abdullah, and he overpowered him. And then in this place called Jarjan, and he fled, etc. And then he mentions he was then preceded, who took over after him was Muhammad bin Zayd, his brother, and he was killed. Okay, after going to war, etc. Then he mentions وَخَرَجَ بِالْكُوفَةِ أَيَّامُ الْمُسْتَعِينَ أَبُو الْحُسَيْنِ Yahya bin Umar bin Yahya bin al-Husayn bin Zayd bin Ali bin al-Husayn bin Ali ibn Abi Talib. So this individual rebelled against al-Musta'in billah, okay, one of the leaders of the Abbasids, and he proceeded towards Hussein bin Ismail, and he ordered Muhammad bin Abdullah bin Tahir, and he killed Abul Hussein. He killed him. Here you go. I got Maqalatul Islamiyin by Abu Hassan al-Ash'ari, who confirms numerous members male members from the AhlulBayt عليهم السلام rebelled against the tyrannical rulers. So to you, Abu Mus'ab, let's play your video.
We bear with patience and we accept this kind of humiliation that we get from our fellow brothers and sisters for the sake of the other ones who are looking for the truth. So when some of you show love and you appreciate and you know, and those who've been with this channel for many years know that we don't have any ulterior motives. Like those who don't really know. Like maybe if you knew and you've seen some of my tweets, you're like, yo, this guy's fishy. Okay, fine. I understand. Those who've been with this channel for many years, they know what we're about. So when you make these, put something like this, yeah, Sohol, you only make yourself look bad, brother. Barakallah feek. I hope and pray that Allah Azza wa Jal guides you from this khariji mentality. Anybody and everybody who claims that we are bootlickers because we don't criticize the governments publicly is a person with khariji tendencies. He has kharijiyya running in his blood. He's someone who has fallen into Khurooj. Whether he is a khariji or not is another discussion. Just like the scholars say, not every practicer of bid'ah is a mubtadi'. A person may engage in innovation, but he's not an innovator himself. And a person may engage in Khurooj even though he's not a khariji himself. But usually, when you start playing around with Khurooj, it's only a matter of time before you become a full-fledged khariji. And I'm telling you straight up, as long as you continue to listen to people like Daniel Hakikachu, it's a matter of time before you become a khariji. You listen to people like Brother Haji, it's a matter of time before you become a khariji. There's no way around it. Because these people are on a mission, non-stop mission, to highlight. They literally fetch in the trash for any piece of information, any kind of news which is against the Gulf. And then they put it to the public and they say, answer this now. Give me an answer now. It's like, dude, you really have to try so hard. You really hate it so much. You're living among the kuffar. All of y'all live. One is living in the US, one is living in the UK. Paying taxes to the governments that know what they're involved in. But it's halal for them, haram for us, you know? We're the bootlickers. Really though? Astaghfirullah, brothers, astaghfirullah, man.
It's only a matter of time before you become a khariji. So hold on now. We are promoting an opinion, a valid opinion, that is from the speculative subsidiary matters. It's better not to do it. But we'll become a fully fledged khariji. So what about those that actually rebelled? And khariji, you know, in terms of the principles of the Khawarij, they're those who make takfir for major sins. You know, we got the books here, we've done it before. I don't need to repeat it back. Okay? But nevertheless, Knowledge North, right? Shamsi and all of these guys, honestly, it's just like the Holy Grail, the true cross. Knowledge North, our brother, mentioned something important, just for your recollection, Abu Mus'ab. He said, forget modern interpretations, we take our deen from the companions. Okay? There's a Khurooj which is from the Sunnah. Okay? There's a Khurooj that is from the Sunnah. Okay? And there's a Khurooj which is an innovation, and a Khurooj which is neither. I explained this at length on my own channel in the Civil War playlist, too lengthy to get into here. Okay, so there's a Khurooj that is Sunnah, there's a Khurooj that is an innovation, and there's a Khurooj which is neither. Okay, so I could assure you that the rebellions of the noble family of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was from the Sunnah. Okay, it was from the Sunnah. And there's a Khurooj which is neither. So, like, who come up with these definitions? Like, I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of this. But again, we need classical scholars to define. You made your followers like sheep. You made them like cattle. You've seen in the video, how many times do they ask about Khurooj? Like, literally, this is their deen. This is guidance for them. Like, and again, for Gulf leaders, how dare you? How dare you misguide the masses like this? I presented so much evidences. The AhlulBayt, AlirezaAlFarsi, numerous members of the AhlulBayt, AlirezaAlFarsi, rebel against their rulers. And as one of them said, Khurooj which is Sunnah, Khurooj which is Bid'ah, Khurooj which is neither. Like, come on. Like, this is literally the rhetoric you're coming out with, and then you say Ilm al-Kalam is, blameworthy. Like, come on, people, come on. So take care of yourselves. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
ليس الغريب غريب الشام واليمن إن الغريب غريب اللحد والكفن إن الغريب له حق لغربته على المقيمين في الأوطان والسكن سفر بعيد وزاد لن يبلغني وقوتي ضعفت والموت يطلبني. ما أحلم الله عني حيث أمهلني، وقد تماديت في ذنبي ويسترني. تمر ساعة